why committing is the very first step in real estate investing. Guys, I talk to a lot of people and everybody's got some excuse why they're not real estate investing. The time's not right. I'm busy. I have kids. My credit's not good. My job's stressful. I don't have an LLC. I don't know how to find a property. I don't know how to value a property. I don't know how to rehab a property. I don't know how to resell a property. I don't know any agents. I don't know any title companies, and on 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 and on. What these are called are justifiable excuses. They're excuses that justify why you're not doing it. The reality is you're never going to get any of these things until you start doing it. You see, real estate investing is an activity. It is an action. It is a verb. It means you're in action doing things. And as you do things, you make the relationships, or you find this, or you do that, and these things start to come together for you. So you have to take it. So what I find is most people don't commit. Committing to investing is the most important thing. And if you don't want to invest, then just say, I don't want to invest. I don't know why you would say that, but if that's the case, then just stop making excuses as to why you're not investing and say, I'm not going to invest. Okay, choice. You made the choice. Stop making excuses. If you want to invest, make the commitment that you're going to invest. That's where it all starts, is this commitment, because this commitment is not a commitment that is like your diet or exercise routine you're doing. This is a all-in commitment, because this commitment to invest, this is a 20, 30, 50-year commitment that you're going to be making to yourself. This is not just a short-term type thing. And the reason is the first 5 years of owning some of this real estate, especially if it's rental properties, is horrible. My wife would come and say, why did we buy this property? This is such a problem. This is such this. And you can watch some of the videos we have on that, or fast forward 20 years and it's like, I am so glad we bought this property. This property is worth 3 times what we paid for it. This property's rents are 3 times what we have for it. We make all this cash flow from it. And all we did was survive a period of time where it was hard. Now, the other thing we had to commit to is doing deals. And we had to commit to the unknown. We had to commit and say, we don't know the problems that are going to happen. But what we do know is we have committed to this and we are going to figure it out. You can always find an excuse for not investing. It could be a variety of things. But if you've committed and said, I am going to invest, you will keep looking for deals. Even if the deal you're working on doesn't work out, you'll keep looking and 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 looking and looking and looking. You'll look until you find a deal. Whether that takes 1 month or whether that takes 10 years, you're going to be making offers and you're committed to finding that deal. You're not going to lose confidence. You're going to keep making a deal happen. Then once you find the deal or you buy the deal, you're going to be committed to making the deal successful. You don't know all the problems you're going to have on a fix and flip. You can get an inspection, you can tour the property and see, but you could have contractors that cause problems. You could have something you couldn't see that was behind the wall, or the main line for the sewer that breaks, that there's not a good way to see it unless you send a camera down it. But there's things like that that can come up, and you're just going to have the confidence of saying, I am going to commit to doing this, and I am going to find a way to make it work. It really comes down to problem solving. And I talk about this all the time. Whoever is the best problem solver is the best real estate investor. There's a problem. How am I going to solve that problem? But none of that happens without a commitment. The first thing you've got to commit is that you're going to do real estate. The second thing you've got to commit on is that you're going to find a deal no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is, and no matter what, without any excuses, you are going to do a deal. And with that level of conviction, you can now go shopping. And then as you find a deal, you're going to get scared to death of that deal. Well, this is a good reason why you want to find some friends, join a membership, get some help from professionals that can help you out with those things, because that's going to help ease your burdens. But you are still going to be scared of doing the deal. Just like I had been a real estate agent for several years, I'd help other people flip properties. But when it came to me signing on the dotted line, doing my first flip, I was scared to death. Even though I'd had all this experience, and my wife talked me into it and said, what's the worst thing that can happen? And I said, well, the worst thing is we could go bankrupt. And she's like, we don't have that much money anyway. If we went bankrupt, what do we have to lose? Huh, what do we have to lose? Well, not much. Well, then let's do the deal, because here's the thing a lot of people just don't realize. The biggest loss is the opportunity loss, okay? It's what could have been done that you didn't spend the time doing. If you start investing here in your 20s, let's say, and now it's your 50s, if you would have started in your 20s, you had all this time for appreciation, values to go up, rents to go up, and everything else. If you're in your 50s now, you have to get started now. So in your 70s, you're going to be seeing those same things. So most people are so scared of making the wrong decision, doing the wrong thing, that it puts them in paralysis and they never do a deal. But the bigger risk that they took was doing nothing. You see, doing nothing and not investing is a choice too. You may be consciously or subconsciously making that choice, but not investing is a choice. The opportunity cost on what could have happened over those years if you would have invested is a lot more than any losses you could take in the real estate investing. And that's what a lot of people just don't realize, is doing nothing is a loss. Doing something has some risks, but it has a lot of potential. And why do I say that? Well, let's come take a look at our handy dandy charts here, okay? So median rents over time. Okay, I've got a video on this. We talk about what happens with rents. You can see rents skyrocket. Frankly, is there even a place on here where rents go down? No, there's not. And that includes 2008, 2009 housing crisis. Rents just kept going up. They went down for maybe a few months and then they went back up. So rents are going to go up over time. So the earlier you start, the more time you have. And time is either your friend or your enemy. It's your friend if you start investing now. It's your enemy if you put off investing, because during the time that could have been happening, this appreciation, rents going up. Let's look at one more thing here. Okay, let's look at this median sales price. Now with this, you will see the values have gone down. Pretty much up, a little bit of downs here, up. But if you look at this, this was the peak in 2008, and this is the value. So 257,000. And the lowest was 220,000, okay? Let's put this in perspective. 250 or 255, and then what do we say, 222. So let's just call it $30,000, okay? Guys, the very highest real estate to the very lowest real estate that we have seen was a difference of about 15 to 20%. However, you can see it took a few years, but by 2013, it was back to where it was in 2007. 5 years, okay? Now, during those 5 years, rents were also going up. So, what you have to ask yourself is, am I committed to doing real estate investing? Am I committed to finding a deal? And am I committed to figuring out a way to make it work? Because even if you don't buy that great of a deal, if you have the staying power to last 5 years, even in the worst markets possible, you're not going to lose much money, if any at all. But here's the kick. If you then wait, if you look from 2013, where the values was 248,000 until now, 438,000. It's almost doubled since that time. You see, it's all about this staying power and making sure you can last through those years. So what could happen during this time? Well, there could be problems with the property. And this is probably one of the most common excuses that I hear from people is, I'm scared of repairs. I don't know how it works. I don't know how this works or that works or anything else. This is what I'd tell you. Go talk to somebody that's owned a house for 20 years. Your grandpa, your grandma, whatever the case is, they've owned a house. It doesn't even have to be the same house. And you can say to them, okay, there's two types of things when you're dealing with houses, okay, when it comes to repairs. So what we want to know, I'm going to call it repairs. I'm going to call it capital improvements. And then I'm going to just call it things they wanted. It's because of the standard of living that they wanted to have with that, okay? It's just things that they wanted, okay? So I want to break down. So the question is, how much money do you spend a year on your house? Okay, how much you spend on your house? We're not talking about your mortgage payments. We're not talking about your insurance. We're simply talking about work that has to be done to your house. Okay, and then they'll give you a list of a few things. And then you have to look at that list and say, okay, what are repairs? Repairs means I can't live there unless this is working. Some examples of that is the toilet's plugged. I can't get it to work. It's got to get roto-rooted, whatever the case is. That's going to have to get fixed so I can continue to live there. That's what's called a repair. Or the heater's not working. We've got to get the heater working, especially if you're in a cold environment like today where it's snowing here. So we've got to get the heater working. Those things are repairs necessary. Capital improvements are a little bit different. This is improving the quality of the property. So a capital improvement would be like a roof. Okay, I'm gonna put a roof in, or a new HVAC system. This is something you pay for once, but you can use the life of that over like 20 years. So these are things we want to save up for as those things are going to be happening. And so when we do that, it's a bigger expense, but we are able to keep it longer time, but it's different repairs. And then you get into we just wanted. So we wanted a swimming pool. Well, that's not something that's needed here. We wanted to have a deck with a pergola or whatever the case is. We wanted to do all this special landscaping. We want to put in a waterfall. We wanted, whatever the case is. All these things are just things they wanted for their standard of living. You take all of those things out. And if you look at it, what does it really cost every single year for them to own that house? And depending upon the size of house and everything else, you're going to be surprised because we're really talking about a few $1,000s. This is interesting. I haven't done this before. I probably shouldn't do it on camera, but what the heck? Let's go to ChatGPT. And let's ask it a question. I'm really curious what it's going to say here. Let's ask it, how much does the average homeowner of a median house in the United States spend per year in repairs? Okay, so this is interesting. They're saying 1 to 4%, 4,000 to 16,000. I'm going to tell you from my experience that you're closer to the 1%, the 4,000, and I actually think that's more on the high side. Repairs and maintenance, including both maintenance, actually, because here's something that's really interesting. Look at this. Home, if you're looking for home warranty, costs. So let's just, okay. Typical home warranty is $350 to $700 per year. Okay, and for that $350 to $700 per year, let's look, coverage. Let's look at what it says coverage. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, appliance, refrigerators, ovens, dishwashers, washer dryers, heaters. Let's see. Exclusions. Why is this not letting me open it up? Well, let's just go to ChatGPT. What things are included in a home warranty? I'm not saying it's perfect, but it gives us an idea. This is a list of everything that's typically included in a home warranty. Remember, you paid $300 to $700 for this, okay? So home warranty systems, heating, cooling system, plumbing, electrical, water heater, fridge, washer, dryer, oven, microwave, garbage disposal, trash compactor, pool equipment, septic system, wells, central vac, blah, blah, blah. Exclusions, they don't cover pre-existing conditions. Well, one of the things you can do is get an inspection to make sure these pre-existing conditions aren't there. Cosmetic issues, they're not going to fix your cabinet. They're not going to fix the hole in the wall. They're not going to fix those things. They're also not going to fix anything if it's damaged because of neglect or misuse. They're not going to cover like high-end appliances or luxury items, but your normal, like your normal trash compactor, it's going to cover. But if you have some multi-$1,000 trash compactor, they're probably going to say, hey, we'll give you a small one. Now, what home warranty companies typically do is they're going to charge $50 to $125 per service call, which means when they come out and you call them, they're going to charge you $50 to $125 to fix whatever that issue is. But here's the question. How can a company make money selling a home warranty for $700? They are not spending $4,200 a year on that property. And here's why: they have to make a profit. They have to pay their staff. They have to be able to invest that money. So that is, they're spending less than $700 per year to take care of these things for you. And then you pay the small service call. So a lot of people, getting a home warranty is a great way to do it. I have found I spend less money in managing the repairs myself, much less than I would spend in buying a home warranty at $700. And so I would rather do that myself. Also, it's part of my management philosophy. I've got several videos on our management philosophy and some things to be aware of when it comes to that. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about getting rid of the excuses and making a commitment. Making a commitment now to invest in real estate, making a commitment to find a property no matter what it takes, and making a commitment to make that property work whatever it takes. That's the commitment that we're looking for, and that's what's going to get you investing in real estate, and that is what stops most people from ever investing in real estate. The biggest risk that you have is the risk of not investing, because that opportunity cost of the things that are going to happen with the house values, with the rents and everything else that's going to happen. Your biggest risk is that first 5 years. And it's going to be not the funnest. There's going to be issues. You're going to be learning. There's going to be everything else. But as you start getting past that and more years come, it just gets better and better and better and better. Are rental properties worth the headaches? Absolutely. I wish I had many more of them, because I would love to have every single one of those properties that I possibly could have. Start with the commitment. That's where it starts, and that's where it will end if you haven't made your commitment.